This is Cast of Wonders, the young adult fiction podcast featuring stories of the fantastic. Welcome to Camp Myth. Chapter 6, October 30th, 2013. Welcome back, campers. Are you ready for Chapter 6? Last week, RG showed us that he really doesn't like to be teased. And then the rock carrying their bus lost one of his handles, sending Felix skyward. Quick! Let's find out what happens to Felix. Where were we, campers? Oh, yeah.
Camp Myth, Phoenix Watching, by Chris Lewis Carter. Chapter 6. I flailed my arms, frantically trying to grab a hold of anything that I could use to stop myself. I was already outside of the bus when I managed to grasp the emergency door handle at the last possible moment. I clung on with everything I had, but the door was flapping like mad, and my grip was beginning to slip away. One of Lil's vines rocketed past me and continued to race off into the distance. Instinctively, I reached out to grab it, but the force of the wind was much too strong. It pressed down on my outstretched arm like a lead sleeve, and the sudden jolt pried my fingers free of the handle. That was it. I was falling. As I twisted and tumbled through the air, plummeting faster than I even thought possible, I couldn't help but feel angry at myself for never bothering to study any types of fey magic. A levitation rune maybe, or some spell to control the wind and give myself a soft landing. Okay, I can guess what you're probably thinking. Why the heck didn't I want to know those awesome things? To which I'd answer, why don't you know how to compose music or create a video game? Don't you like those awesome things? Despite what you might see in movies, magic isn't just about waving a wand or saying a few magic words. It can take years of study just to conjure a simple flicker of flame. I was always more interested in researching what you humans were up to. Believe it or not, I didn't want to dedicate all of my spare time to learn a spell that could help on the off chance I'd one day fall out of a flying school bus. Mythic misconception number 2. Magic is a total bore to learn. Air was rushing into my lungs, making it hard to breathe, and the wind stretched back my skin and flattened my clothes to my body. Although my vision was shiny with tears, I could still make out the nearby vine, and unless my eyes were playing tricks with me, something else was travelling down its surface. It was some sort of small creature? A cat? No, it was a fox, red with white markings, and it was barrelling down the vine as fast as its legs could move. When it was no more than a few feet away from me, there was a sharp cracking noise, the fox disappeared, and a girl materialised in its place. She held onto the vine with one hand and outstretched the other.
What's a 5-letter word for insane?
She shouted.
Oh yeah, it's Felix!
I grabbed her hand and hauled myself over to the vine. I had no idea where she came from, but at that moment it didn't matter. We both locked our arms and legs around the vine for the best possible grip, and a few seconds later we were being reeled back up like fish on a hook. We shot through the clouds and the turbo bus quickly came into view. After one final tug, we launched back through the emergency door and landed in the aisle with a thud. I barely had enough time to notice that our bus was flying upright again when the rest of the vine returned with Archie caught by his ankle. He tumbled down the aisle and landed right beside us as another pair of vines slammed the flapping door tight.
Am I dead?
He said weakly.
No, you're back on the bus to camp,
the mystery girl replied. Archie groaned and put both hands over his eye.
Oh, that might be worse.
Lil hurried over, trying her best to smile and blink through the tears leaking out of her eyes, and asked us about 1,000,000 times if we were all okay. Once everyone had finally quieted down, she turned to the girl and said,
I don't know where you came from, but you certainly know how to make an entrance.
I thought for sure that Archie was the only non-fey creature on our bus, but this girl had a mane of long red hair that turned white once it spilled past her shoulders, and cat-like ears that pointed out from the sides of her head. She had sharp features, like a narrow chin and high cheekbones, and a single tail that twitched nervously in her lap. She was, undoubtedly, a kitsune.
Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now,
she said, and I finally recognised her as the voice that had been inside my head. She gave a weak smile and wiggled a few fingers in greeting.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Moxie. This week's Camper Spotlight is Anitha, Herald of the Forest. Felix says, sitting in the limbs of the Paradoxian tree, Anthea the Dryad says there's no place in the world where she feels more in tune with nature. I was going to tell her I'm so bad with plants that I once managed to kill a small potted cactus, but I decided to draw her this picture instead. Anthea was invented by Elizabeth Zerbrach. You can find the picture of her on the Camp Myth webpage. Cast of Wonders needs your help. We love bringing you free stories week after week, but we can't do it without you. Please consider donating at castofwonders.org, where you'll find buttons for regular and one-time donations via PayPal. Or help spread the word about our Camp Myth and our weekly stories by blogging or tweeting about us, or write us a review on iTunes, or like our Facebook page. There's lots of ways that you can show your love for our tales of the fantastic. Camp Myth Phoenix Watching is a Cast of Wonders production brought to you by Wolfsbane Publishing and featuring the voice talents of Kate Baker, Adam Black, Tina Connolly, Graham Dunlop, Christiniana Ellis, Marguerite Kenner, Alethea Contis, Alistair Stewart, Ian Stewart, and Barry J. Northern. You can learn more about the world of Camp Myth at our website, castofwonders.org. Our weekly episodes are released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license. Share it, but please don't change it or sell it. The Camp Myth theme music, August, is by Cast of Wonders' favorite musical artist, Alexi Nov from musicalley.com. Thanks for listening.